Hello, my name is Matthew Orr, and I'm going to be giving my presentation on high schools in the United States. Think back to when you were in high school. How was your experience? And if you could change anything from that experience, what would it be? High schools have been around for a very long time. In high schools, generally students from 9th to 12th grade attend for learning purposes for about 6.5 hours a day, 5 days a week. Now, it can be easily agreed by everyone that high schools are filled with opportunities for success. But this brings up the question, do high schools in the United States need improvement? Some will argue that high schools need no change, while others will say that they are in dire need of it. High schools in the United States have many areas where they can improve. Their students are being overworked. Their teachers are underappreciated, and their lunches are downright unhealthy. First, students are being overworked. One of the main reasons for this is that high schoolers have way too much homework. On top of being in school for 6.5 hours a day, according to Hannah Jenkins, the average high schooler comes home to about 24.5 hours of homework per week. This totals up to about 2,052 hours per year, which is the equivalent of 86 days of both being in school and doing homework. Add this up with extracurricular activities, jobs, and social lives. When do students have the time for sleep? This brings up the next proof. High schoolers are getting way too little sleep. The average student spends, according to Hannah Jenkins, about 1,170 hours in school, plus another 1,000 hours on homework per year. Now, the average adult should be getting 7 hours of sleep a night. How do high schools expect peak performances from students who have to juggle school, homework, activities, jobs, and a social life? Finally, students are beginning to grow uninterested. With a lack of sleep comes a lack of good performance in school with grades. This leads to students feeling like they have already failed and feeling hopeless, which leads them to grow more uninterested. Next, teachers are underappreciated. And one of the main reasons for this is that teachers in the United States are overworked. Sure, students have long days, but teachers have longer ones. They get to school before the students and leave after. And after a long day of work, they come home to what? To grade all of the work from all of their different classes. Next, teachers are underpaid. In New Jersey, the average high school teacher gets paid $67,700 per year. Sure, this is higher than what the average high school teacher in the United States gets paid, but you have to take into account that New Jersey has one of the highest cost of livings in the country, and the fact that teachers are expected to buy their own school supplies out of pocket. Finally, teachers are disrespected. During COVID, all they saw were black screens on Zoom. Because students were losing interest, they stopped trying. This made teachers' jobs almost impossible. Imagine staring at 20 black screens all day, desperately trying to spark conversation. This is what teachers were going through day in and day out. Finally, school lunches are downright unhealthy. One of the main reasons for this is that school lunches are overly processed. Chicken nuggets, pizza, burgers, hot dogs, and tacos. This is what is being served to high schoolers all across the country. Unhealthy, high in sodium, high in fat, and high in cholesterol foods. From the lack of sleep to the garbage that they are being fed, how do high schools expect high schoolers to be focused and ready to learn? Another reason for high school lunches being unhealthy is that there are not enough healthy options, and in fact, there are too many unhealthy ones. Put yourself back in your 15-year-old shoes. You have a bag of chips and a side salad. What do you choose? What are you going to choose to have with lunch? I can tell you that the average 15-year-old is going to choose the bag of chips. The healthy options that schools are providing are both unappetizing and boring. Since when are bowls of lettuce considered healthy and nutritious? High schoolers are students, not bunny rabbits. Finally, high school lunches aren't providing enough nutrition. Conditions such as obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart problems all tend to stem from the same thing: nutrition. So what's more important to high schools today? Getting cheap and cost-efficient meals, or the health and safety of their students? Now, someone that may be trying to argue the other side, saying that high schools need no change, might say something along the lines that students have the choice to make a healthy lunch. While that's true, in order to make that decision, they need self-control, something that is not taught in high schools. They might follow up by saying that teachers in New Jersey earn more than the average adult in the United States. And while that is true, New Jersey has the 4th highest cost of living in the country, along with the fact that teachers are expected to buy school supplies from their own money. Finally, they might end with saying that students have the perfect amount of homework because practice makes permanent. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the better you will get. And while that is true, practice makes permanent and it makes perfect. Most of that practice that high school students are getting is just busy work. As you can see, there are many problems with high schools in the United States today. Their students are overworked, their teachers are underappreciated, and their lunches, well, they're downright unhealthy. Parents all around the country are trying to give high schools a sign. It's time for change. This is an extremely important and pressing issue in our world today because this can and will have lasting effects on our future. Thank you.